Test. Okay, you can hear. Does it work? Because, okay, I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. Hold on. You know why it's out of focus? Hold on. Ta-da! Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. One more thing. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm not worrying about it. Can you hear me? Oh, these background, I have these background graphics. Now no sound again? Okay. Brady says it's all good. To what do you owe the pleasure? Well, I am going out tonight. I have 2 networking events. My eye's killing me. So I thought, well, I won't do it tonight. So I'm here. Love the lipstick with my top, see? Because I can't wear a lot of eye makeup because my eye's all swollen. Look at this. Oh, it hurts so bad. So I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. You can't hear because you have to go forward to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? My eye is incredibly sensitive right now. So that's why I have the red lip on. Like, it's so sore. But I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Ah, thanks, Brady. It's nice of you guys. So I saw this article from the Tallahassee Democrat saying that they responded to Charlie Adelson's appeal the day Donna was sentenced. And I thought, that's genius. It's freaking genius. Hi, Loopy Lass. So if you are new, because lately I've been coming in the evening, I like to interact with the chat. So I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Patty's Playhouse. I'm a real estate broker and property appraiser. And we talk about the Adelsons because everybody talks about the Adelsons right now. People on the street come up to me and talk about the Adelsons. It's crazy how many people are now aware of this trial. And I think a lot of it was Donna's ranting and raving and Harvey's ranting and raging at sentencing day. I think that's a lot of it, to be honest with you. Why it's made it so much, people are so much more aware than they were before. So I like to say hi to everyone. So I'm going to go back and see how many people I can say hi to. Hey, Carrie Lynn, how are you? Oh, my watch is telling me to stand, but I'm not going to. Hey, Steph K. Hi, Margaret and AJ Mama and Sade. Sade. A story to tell. I had, when the light is on the mic is blue, it's fine. And when it's muted, but it was on. I just had to like pull it off the USB and put it back in. So, hey, everybody, West Coast Magic. Georgine, I've not seen you before. How are you? Welcome. Hey, Nancy. It's a lot. That is a lot. Periwinkle Rabbit. One of my favorite colors is periwinkle. I can't really wear it well, but I love it. Hey, Elisa. Hi, Jill. Loopy Lass. West Coast Magic. I think there's a car detailer here called West Coast Magic. Hey, Salty and Endo Ray. Hey, Heather. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. Welcome. You're coming in. I appreciate it very much. Rebecca, did you go last night? I didn't go because of my eye. I didn't go. A lot more people knowing might enable Jill to ask for a change of venue. I don't care if they give her a change of venue or not. They still have to try to get a jury, right? They have to, we learned that with Donna's trial. You have to attempt a jury. And they only served up 180, but they only asked questions for like 100. And in that, no one said she was innocent. There were people who left because of vacations. There were people who left because they said, oh, you're guilty, to her face, which is huge. I mean, that's an amazing gift to me, to be able to sit there and go, you are guilty, right to someone's face. It's crazy. And they still were able to see the jury. Most of them were very young, who weren't even driving age when the murder took place. So I love it. Hey, Murder, how are you? You did go. Good for you. I'm glad you went. You saw Jill at Sephora the other day. You're lying, Giacomo. You're lying. I gave up coffee before my fast. Oh, you haven't wanted it? Just different conversation. So a lot of people, if you're new, the chat, a lot of the people know each other. So sometimes there's side conversations and I'm reading, and I don't read first before I start talking. I probably should. Arrest Wendy. That's a good one. What's the holdup with Wendy Jill? Well, Lakeside, I have no idea. I'm not privy to the conversation. But someone brought up a great point the other day that Sarah Catherine, co-counsel to Georgia Kappelman, is up for a judgeship. That's what you call it. So she's up for the judgeship, and because of that, they may not be doing anything till they find out whether she gets the bench or is she comes back to being a prosecutor. And we won't know that until the first or second week of November. I'm so glad we're exposing Wendy Jill, Jill Estrada, Wendy Estrada, idiotic aliases, if she could disguise her sorry, tired ass at this point. Did anyone see Jay's interview with the juror from Sigfredo and Katie's trial? Even back then, they felt Wendy was lying the whole time on the stand. I didn't. I saved it, but I didn't watch it yet. Wendy will ask for a speedy trial, and the state will be ready. The state will be ready. She's not going to ask for that. We need a bench countdown for SKD. That's Sarah Catherine Dugan. Thank you, Grandpa Potato. I love a potato. She's a horse of many colors and looks like one. Wendy can change her name, but not the story saying the same. It's good. Definitely watch Jay. He's so funny. He's so funny. I love when he gets all emotional. You know that. Oh, I love it. 'Cause I see myself in that because I rant. Hey, Margaret. Love watching about this twisted family from Australia. Don't worry, we have our own down here. It's Giacomo, like Puccini. Thank you. Well, this is an appointment, not an election. So this is Governor DeSantis will appoint the person, not an election. But they said it's usually 60 days or 60 to 90 days after the final list, and she made the final list. Jay is hilarious. I love that he give us permission to swear. Yeah. His wife, who's Shannon, has a video about Harvey. The Icon condo, they didn't own the Icon. They rented 2 different units in the Icon. And I have no idea what they're worth. They live on Bristol now, because that's how you say it. They rented a unit in the Continuum for $13,000. That's where they first rented for $13,000 a month. That was Wendy's Jill's lure. That was the thing to get her down there, right? And that was $13,000 at the time, 2014. I continue to wonder and worry about the Markel boys. Yeah, they rented. Pamela's new. So they still own the Coral Springs house, which if you remember on the stand, Wendy, which is why I started this channel, because it struck me as a lie, because it was. Wendy on the stand says that she moved back home to her parents. She didn't move back home to Coral Springs to her parents. She didn't. She moved to the Continuum, which is at 100 South Point Boulevard in Miami Beach. And Coral Springs is not in Miami Beach. But they rented that unit. The lease was signed just not much prior to the murder. Very circumstantial. That would be circumstantial evidence. And Coral Springs house, where they lived, where the Adelsons raised their 2 murderous children, was not sold until 2015. So they rented, and then they rented in the Icon. So Jill buys a condo, and Jill buys a condo on Meridian in Miami Beach, which was filthy by the time she was done with it. And they rented not too far from that at the Icon. And the Icon is where the bump occurred. And then it was after Katie was arrested and the trial that they bought at Bristol. And they've owned that. The only change they've made to that condo is shortly after Harv and W72841 bought the condo, they added impact windows. That was it. And I thought, well, are you afraid the SWAT team's going to swing through the windows? So you buy impact windows, hurricane impact windows. And that's the only permit that was done. We learned a couple weeks ago, the HOA is about $4,300 a month. And the taxes are about $4,000 a month. They're on the 16th floor at this Bristol Towers. And that's $8,000 a month for a man that doesn't have a regular income other than laundry money. And I mean, that's literally, it's coin change. And his Social Security and whatever investments he may have left. That's it. That's all they have. And they only have 1 rental property left. There's 1 property that's they just said a Liz Pendens that I guess Charlie, his dad, POA for Charlie Adelson, wants it sold, but the partner doesn't want to sell it, so they're suing. So yeah, they rented. I would bet Harvey's moving soon. Yeah, it's worth a lot more. It's I'm not an appraiser in Miami, but Zillow says it's worth like 1.9 and they paid like 1.6. So there is money there. They did just take out a home equity line of credit, and that was we found that out on sentencing day because they had to pay for legal fees. And as if we care. As if we feel bad for them. I hope he ends up on SNAP benefits. Harvey's going to be glad he has Social Security. When will Jill's boyfriend dump her? He's not going to. Do you really believe that? Oh, many condos are getting $400,000 and $500,000 assessments due to code. I mean, it's huge amount of money. Huge down there. It depends on the age of the building. Obviously, the high rises, but they have to because those condo associations have let those condos go to shit. Hence, Sunrise Condo, which collapsed and so many people died. So the statutes changed about condominiums and it's kind of tanked the market. But if the building's newer, then the market's pretty stable. But they have much larger condo fees because they have to keep so much in reserve now that they could have had before Sunrise. They could have had $0 in reserve. All very nice properties. When I become decrepit and my face falls, I'd consider a condo, although I'm still a sexy beach bum. Key West doesn't have adequate medical care. Yeah, I'm sure. Do they have any for? No, that's all personal. I would have no idea. My relative's condo was near KM's mom's condo on Intercoastal, not the beach. That's great. You could dress as a patient, but now put something on underneath the hospital. Anybody dumb enough to be currently dating Jill won't be dating her, dumping her, in my opinion. Nah, he's not going to. Will they actually pay the $700,000 assessed for the? It's for restitution, and time will tell. Brian Koberger, the disastrous, disgusting, vile human being that killed the 4 students in Idaho, he has said he's not paying the restitution. They had a GoFundMe and he doesn't have to pay it. Why did they let him live? I blame the judge and the prosecution. I really do. They should have just, I hope some deranged inmate gets a hold of him and shoves a broomstick up his ass. That's what I hope. I hope there's someone who lost a kid who just free willies him and just shoves a broomstick, hot preferably, up his ass. He will not dump her. Yeah, one thing he can say is Donna stole all of his money. Are they claiming not to have money? No, they're just saying they had to take a home equity line of credit out. Yeah, it's higher. Yep. You've been staying busy in the hospital. No, I'm just going to the doctor for my eye. Yeah, it was Dahmer. I can't watch that show either. That was Dahmer that had the hot broomstick up his ass. Tell us how you really feel. Why people come here. That's why they show up. We have really good cosmetic surgeon specialists, just not essential health care like treating cancer. I think Tallahassee's very similar. I'd settle for a cold broomstick. That's funny. The entire broomstick. That's what happened to Dahmer. He was sweeping and they took a broomstick up his ass. True story. I can't watch the show. Like, have you guys watched it? I can't watch it. It's too much. They can put that rate restitution forever. They can. But if it's a court order and say somehow, I just thought of this. I wonder, can restitution go on your credit report? Hold on one second. I got to ask chat. If that can go on their credit report, and he ever had to take out another loan, he wouldn't be able to. It can show up indirectly. It can become a civil judgment when a court enters a restitution. If it's sent to collections, restitution payments are missed and the debt is turned over to a collection agency. That's not like that here. A lien can be placed on the property. So they would have to break the trust. So they have a revocable trust, and they would have to, the court would have to it's called piercing the trust of a revocable trust. And then they could place liens on the property. Or if they can prove that the trust was started to, how do I say it? Like avoid criminal penalties. But the properties are placed in a trust. That's the problem. They could put liens on the bank accounts, like they could start garnishing, but they would have to pierce the trust. Well, a doctor told me while at the appointment with my husband that Tallahassee and the whole country is short-staffed due to all of us baby boomers. Well, it's also short-staffed because nurses have found other jobs, like me. Like, I'm a licensed nurse, but I found other work because I don't want to be talked to the way the administration talks to you. I don't want to be put on the spot that if, like, I can remember going to a nursing home. I always worked night shift, and they tried to hand over, give me a report. So in Florida, once report is given to the new nurse that's coming on, they're responsible for everything. No. That's not happening. So when I went in to take report and start my shift, and I was an agency nurse, there was no other nurse on staff, no other nurse. So if I would have taken that report, I would have been responsible and not been able to leave till the next nurse comes in. But I would have been all by myself. So guess what did not happen that night? I did not take report. So I'm so very sorry, but I'm not going to be negligent today. I'm going to call the agency if they can get somebody else. If they can't get somebody else, I'm done. No, I'm not being put in that position, and my license isn't being put in that position. But the administrators are just, they're just despicable. I mean, I've not worked in any facility in 2 different states where I'm like, that administrator gets it. I don't care how many master's degrees or PhDs they have. They do not get it. They do not understand floor nursing and dealing with families and dealing with peds is the worst. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. There isn't enough money. If they said, Patty, you can make $500 to go work on a pediatric floor, I wouldn't do it. No way. There isn't enough money. It's the parents. Peds are fine. Kids are great. The parents are lunatics. Absolute lunatics. No way. The children of some parents can be lunatics. Here, give my mother morphine. No, I'm not giving your mother morphine. I mean, it's just that it's just constantly an argument. It's constantly, it's horrible work. Horrible work. Helicopter parents, yes. You're a pediatric nurse. Bless your heart, man. Bless your heart, because there is no way. There's not enough money. I did IV nursing at Tallahassee Memorial. They sent me to the peds floor, and I vowed never to go back. Your child has to get an IV to survive, and you're whining because the child has to get an IV. Man up. Like, I'm a military person primarily. Man up. You should be grateful for every IV that child gets, but no. You made my child scream. For real? There's a needle involved here. Why don't you leave the room and your child won't be flipping out? Horrible. Hi, Wendy. You worked at Tampa General. Well, that's when it was good. You worked NICU. Some special ed teachers get beat up by kids. Some nurses get beat up. So when I worked at Leon County Jail, which is what it was called at the time, it was the best job I've ever had. It was absolutely, the jailees are grateful to you. The staff is grateful to you. You can't get hit because then they catch a charge. You can't get bit. You can't get kicked. The worst thing someone does is jack off in front of you. I mean, that's really the worst thing that ever happened to me. And then they get in charge. They get a charge for that. Oh, really? Advent in Orlando doesn't have the long shifts. Yeah, I don't like 12-hour shifts. Not on a regular basis. People loved it because they were doing 312s. No, it's okay. Mm-mm. You couldn't do jail, but they would be grateful. Yeah, it was easy work. I mean, it was really easy. It was easy. I didn't have a problem with it at all. It just set my personality. My personality liked it. Okay, thank you. I'll look at it. So John Smith wrote me an outro song. I asked him to. You hate 8-hour shifts. I don't mind 112. I like 7P to 7A. I would never have worked. I hated it. Like during a snowstorm up north, it was 11P to 11A. From that 7A to 11A, I thought I was going to puke and pass out. Like my restitution just didn't like it. I didn't do well. They do take a percentage of your commissary for restitution, Ms. Brown. They do. Once there, do it. Yeah, I'm never doing 7A to 7P. That's 3 meals. Never happening. But I would do 7P to 7A, but not 3 days in a row. You work with hospice patients, and I've beaten up and broken fingers. The families don't care and don't believe their parents are mean. It's a problem. You work nights and days. My sister was in charge of a jail in New Jersey and wouldn't let me apply as a nurse to work in the jail system. Well, Leon County is nice. I mean, it really is. When my mother was in the hospital in 16, there were 4 to 5 patients per nurse. Boca Regional Private Hospital. I had to be there all day and night. I mean, it is far worse than that now. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Hi. Hi, Socorro. How are you? I don't know I don't know this story, Ms. D. I'm sorry. I don't know it. You had to evacuate the hospital with a hurricane. Did Charlie pay restitution? Restitution was not requested, which is why I thought, oh, is this the end of the line? A friend of yours works in a place where they have to sit on the kids. I'm sure European hospitals are more like that. I mean, I just, in my head, here, everything is by the lawyer. Everything is by the lawyer. It's a bitch. So is Charlie appeal quashed? No. It's still ongoing. It doesn't get quashed. Hi, Orly. How are you? I work in organ transplant, 312s. Nope, that's okay. You've never heard of sitting on a kid? Well, I remember just in my when I was in nursing school, just in my rotation for the psych hospital, before they could get Haldol on them, they were sitting on them, tying them up. That's when you could really, restrict someone's movement. Hi, Patty. Maybe we don't know. I don't think we'll know. Let's see if any more orders came out. We won't know until the final order for that restitution shows up. Hi, Moonchild. So you know how I was making fun of that Jessica Usury, Jessica Iris? So one of you was kind enough to show me that she got arrested back in March. Jessica Iris Usury is Brianna Price's mama, and Brianna Price is the baby mama of Charlie Adelson's son. Well, Jessica wrote this beautiful letter on behalf of Donna. Meanwhile, she'd been arrested in March for scratching and hitting her daughter, Brianna. She probably deserved it, though. And when Brianna dropped the charges, they wouldn't cooperate. Nope, nothing on the docket new for Donna. There's a name for the restraint system, but they basically have to sit on them, else the kids headbutt things. It's super sad. Well, we don't know how they derive that figure, the 723,000. We don't know. Hey, Scott, how are you? Oh, it's not the Temu eye makeup. Because it's on both eyes. So, but thanks. Hello, Simon for life. I have 2 events tonight. I hope it doesn't get chilly. I'm going to have to go home and get a jacket. Nope, does not have a chance. They should get Linda Bailey to pay that $723K. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Yeah, Jessica Iris Usury. So I went into Rally's. What do you say? Let me show you her. Let me see. Where is it? Good. Well, Brianna was arrested at the same time for failure to appear. They're just a family of nitwits. You know, it's just so ridiculous that it's just, here's her. You know, everyone was like, oh, she's pretty. Oh, she's confident. Oh, blah. Oh, she's. Now, she didn't, the daughter would not, you show it to him. The daughter would not cooperate, shockingly. That's that pretty mama. Oh, she's so pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. She had a rough day. Scratching and hitting her daughter, who she might have been trying to stop her from doing something stupid. I don't give her, I'm not too harder on that, but I'm harder on her for helping Donna or attempting to help Donna than I would be on that shot. Hi, Peter. How are you? Thank you, Alexia. I don't feel well today, but thank you. I think they should go after Wendy harder than anyone else. I'm praying. I am praying. Weight loss is really showing in your face. Well, I started that GLP-3, the new GLP thing. It's a peptide. It's part of Eli Lilly. It's in the study phase. And I have, apart from my eye being a bother, I have never felt so good. I haven't felt this good pre-menopause. Like, that's how good I feel. I honestly, it's absolutely incredible. Where are you getting a GLP-3? From a website. If you're interested, you can email me and I'll send it to you. There's no prescription for it right now because it's in the study phase. And it's inexpensive right now because it's in the study phase. But as soon as it gets approved by the FDA, I bet it's $1,500 a shot. They should use this as their ad, bless their heart. Well, they can't advertise it really because it's not approved yet. I could not believe Linda Bailey's testimony either. And from what I've heard, it has affected their business, and that's all you can hope for. Restitution from Charlie may have looked like greed. Restitution from Wendy would take away from the boys. I have to tell you, I don't care. And if you heard Allison Galvani the other night when she was on East Idaho News, and she is a daughter of someone who was murdered, and she said, by all straights, being in the custody of a murderer is not a good thing. It's not the way it should work. So I don't care. Restitution from the boys. Anyway, if Wendy had to pay restitution, it would go into the trust fund for the boys by the nature of how it works here. But I don't care. I think she should be arrested, tried, convicted, and put away for life. I really don't. And using the boys as like the reason. How about all those other people that are in prison right now who had children? Katie Magbanua, Sarah Suitcase, all of the, tons of people are in prison and jail for very long periods of time, and they have children. Sorry. It's not how it works. They should have thought about that before they committed the crime. You have ordered at Maryland. Yeah, I can't believe how cheap it is either. Becky, I didn't give a notification. I'm very sorry. You were just referring to the money. But it really won't, because the restitution, Indy Nana, goes to the boys because they were next of kin. Parents are not next of kin. It goes down. So if children die, then it goes back up to the parents. But it first of all, if there's children involved, they are the next of kin. And their money goes into a trust, and that trust is run by Shelley Markel. But in general, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, that's how it would work. In this case, because there is a trust. Having that money go to Wendy from her father, Donna, whatever, W72841, would be despicable. But they still should have to pay. Katie's family and her kids have nobody they are close to. I agree with you. They might be disrespecting Dan's kid. I'm not saying that. You agree with someone else in the chat. GLP-3 is not approved, so no prescription is prescribed. I talked to my doctor before I did it. If Harvey has a HELOC, he must be hurting financially because he's a greedy, hungry ghoul. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, it just needs to happen. Charlie and W72841 are used to accessing any drug they want to take, and now they can't get anything except with the prisoners, and that's not anything, so they're in trouble. Yeah, they got hooch wine out of the toilet. Oh, can you imagine? Wendy is probably pissy whenever she has to request money from the trust and contact Shelley. They probably have regular bills. She probably has regular bills. And it sounds like those bills, the payments go to the attorney and then the attorney. It would be interesting to find out what money. It would be interesting. Wendy asked Shelley for, and if she has to prove it, like a life insurance policy. It would be very interesting to know. Yeah, I'm not in the know. I wish I was in the know, but I'm not in the know. Oh, I get it. You just can't even believe it. Donna and Wendy toilet chatting. Oh, you want to go to Austin and see? Hey, Emily. I bet Shelley asked for backup. Yeah, Shelley's an attorney, so I bet she does. It's not like she doesn't want to help kids, but you got to represent the trust properly. You're 100% sure Shelley makes Wendy provide receipts. It'd be nice. It would be nice. So let's take a look at this article first. Oh my God. All of that. And okay, here we go. I hate when the Democrat, bless their heart, they will, what's the term? This article will refresh. Ugh. So it says on the same day, jurors found Donna guilty. Oh, it was the guilt day, not the sentencing day. In the murder for hire of Dan Markel, the state of Florida filed its answer brief in her son, Charlie Adelson's appeal, laying out why his conviction should stand in a legal argument that may echo in her eventual appeal. W72841 was convicted September 4 in the Leon County Courthouse, first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation in the murder of Markel, her daughter, Jill Estrada, ex-husband, and the father of their 2 kids. Leon County Stephen Everett sentenced her to life in prison during a proceeding that saw her lash out at the system before she was carted off by deputies. Thank you, Jeff. In 2023, Everett imposed the same sentence on Adelson Charlie after he was found guilty. In Charlie Adelson's appellate brief, which he filed in May with the First District Court of Appeal, he claimed Everett erred when he denied a defense request for a change of venue. The defense argued at that time it was impossible for him to get a fair trial in Tallahassee because of a biased jury pool. My eyes are going to roll back in my head. But Assistant Attorney General Robert Charles Lee rejected that argument in a 57-page answer brief that appeared strategically timed coming hours after Donna's trial ended. The brief, electronically filed at 11:55 on September 4, said Charlie Adelson waived his change of venue argument when he accepted the jury without objection at the end of the selection process. Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So once the jury is selected, their attorney, the defense attorney, would have to object to the jury. And Rashbaum, in his wisdom, you know, he's a genius. He's a legal genius. Did not challenge the venue. In the middle of jury selection during this trial, Josh Dubin, a New York lawyer and jury consultant for the defense, made an oral motion for a change of venue, saying the trial should be held downstate, away from the Tallahassee Democrat and WCTV operate. But Everett denied the motion, and according to the state, the defense didn't raise the issue again after the jury and alternates were picked. Everett asked Charlie Adelson directly if he accepted the jury once selection wrapped. I didn't. Yes, Your Honor, he replied. In Lee's answer brief, he cited a Florida Supreme Court saying a motion for a change of venue should be renewed at the conclusion of jury selection. How is Rashbaum a federal trial attorney? Or be considered waived. He also cited a first DCA, District Court of Appeals, ruling in the case of serial killer Gary Michael Hilton, who murdered someone here. He decapitated her. She was a nurse. Her name was Cheryl, whose victims included a Crawfordville nurse, saying that failure to lodge a second objection indicates abandonment of the initial objection. Because Adelson waived all his objections to this jury, this court should reject Adelson's first argument without reaching the merits. Donna Adelson accepted her jury after a shrug. That's not noted in the state's filing in Charlie Adelson's appeal. Donna also accepted the jury seated for her trial once selection ended on August 21st. As in the son's trial, Everett pre-screened a large panel of prospective jurors in person to determine how much media they consumed about the case and what effect it would have on the ability to fairly serve. Does the defense accept this jury? Everett asked. Donna Adelson looked at her attorneys and shrugged before saying yes. One of her juries, Josh Zellman of Tallahassee, stood up briefly to confirm she did. Confirm she did. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Adelson, do you accept this jury to try your case? Everett asked. Yes, she said, looking at the judge. In June, 2 months before her trial began, Everett presided over a lengthy hearing on a defense motion to move the trial out of town. In that hearing, Zellman, echoing the words of Charlie Adelson's defense, said seating a fair and impartial jury would be impossible. Everett declined to grant the motion in order that followed, but said the defense could raise the issue again following an attempt to actually select the jury, and they didn't. In Charlie Adelson's appeal, the state said he failed to comply with a Florida rule of criminal procedure requiring change of venue motions to be in writing and accompanied by affidavits and a certificate the motion was made in good faith. $1 million, Dubin, $1 million. Good job. Adelson made an oral motion to change venue without providing any supporting documents. Adelson's motion, therefore, was legally insufficient. The state also argued that Charlie Adelson failed to show whether pretrial publicity consisted of straight, factual news or inflammatory stories. Most of the prospective jurors learned about Markel's murder through professional news outlets like ABC, CNN, Fox, The Democrat, and WCTV, a local television station affiliate with CBS, Lee wrote. Nothing in the record suggests that the professional news outlets said anything inflammatory about Adelson. Donna and Charlie conspired to kill Markel, a Florida State University professor, so Jill Estrada could move to South Florida with their sons, something a judge had barred. 3 others, including 2 hitmen and a go-between, Katie Magbanua, were also convicted in the 14 shooting death. Charlie Adelson's appellate lawyers, Michael Offerman and Laurel Cornell, who was in the courtroom for Donna's trial of Tallahassee, have until November 5th to respond to the state's brief. Donna Adelson, who complained that her trial was held in what she called a hotbed of Tallahassee, said during her sentencing hearing that she intends to appeal. Everett said she had 30 days to do so. At the very least, the state should present Wendy's case to a grand jury and let them decide. I agree. Hi, Kathleen. How are you? I'm just catching live, sitting in a grocery store parking lot. We'll replay later. Do we think Wendy is married or just trying to hide? Oh, just trying to hide using his name. I don't believe they're married. There is no record of a marriage. You hope she's arrested by the end of the year. She should have been arrested last year, but here we are. Okay, let's get Wendy. Hi, Junebug. I'm late. Happy to be here. Hello, Patty Cakes. 86 degrees in the Keys. The weather's getting more heavenly lately. Oh, you're so tired of being tired. I'm sorry, Moonchild. Zellman also screwed up on this issue. But someone was kind enough to send me a lot of articles about ineffective counsel. And it's really hard to get. In Florida, might be easier in like California. She accused her jury of sleeping when she actually hoped they were asleep. She can't make a decision in court, testify or not. We can all wait for you, Donna. In the beginning, they wanted the smaller courtroom, aka Karen Reed. One thing was Donna, W72841, wanted to face the jury. Then Miss Petty wanted to sit on the side as well. Donna never really looked at the jury. No, she didn't. She looked at us. She looked at the media. She accepted the jury, just not the verdict. Telling you, Debbie Martin's got some good comments. So what I've been doing this is the 3rd time. At the end of the show, I highlight the best comment and then I pick a comment of the night. Something fun to do. Misdemeanor. You have a freeze warning in Ohio? Where are you in Ohio, Simmon for life? I wonder, I bet Jorge would attend. I think he truly loves her in a despicable, disgusting way. Ms. Petty, very funny. That is funny. Yeah, she looked at the camera. Ruth Markel, thank you for reminding Norma. Ruth Markel is on Carl Steinbeck tonight. I'm going to have to watch it on replay. Ohio is very flat. I think it's flatter than Florida in a lot of ways without the ocean or the Gulf. But Cincinnati is just beautiful. I think Cincinnati is such a beautiful area. 82 in Tucson. What is it today, guys? What is it, Norma? What's the weather today? The weather is 81. A low of 59. That's tomorrow's 79. God, it's so great. It's just so beautiful. Next Thursday, high of 63. I have some nice jackets. I'm getting it here. Your son lived in Lexington. It's gorgeous. I drove through Lexington. It's gorgeous. There's so much money in Lexington. Yes, they do. Men love to rescue a woman. No one's ever tried to rescue me. No one's ever tried to rescue me. I'm not the rescued kind. 57 in the UK. You didn't realize Ohio had world-class museums. As long as it's not the Louvre. Did you see that Napoleon era jewelry that was stolen from the Louvre was uninsured? Uninsured. Sorry, my eye itches so bad. You're across the river. Yeah, I'm sorry, Giacomo. I couldn't take it. Southwest Ohio is hilly and wooded. Central Ohio is pretty flat. We love it here in Southwest Ohio. Give me temps in the 60s. I know. What is it in Venice? In Venice, it's because I'm going to Venice in a few weeks. In Venice, it's 59 right now. You're in Bali. Bali? Is it Bali, Indonesia? Bali? It's always hot. I am early. I can't do it tonight. I can't be on tonight. It's a bit cold and windy in Scotland. My girlfriend's in Donegal right now. I don't have Donegal in here. London, I have it's 53. And raining. Shocking. There's a cool history of psychology museum in Ohio. My professor let us visit. I hate the humidity, but my hair and my face love it. It truly does. I go up north, my nose bleeds, my face peels, my hair feels dry as my skin loves humidity. I don't. So France, they're calling it a national disaster. Typical French drama. How do you not have that insured? I'm at work. Is there anything exciting happening? I'm here. I'm here, PJ. Not really. We were just, if you watch it a replay, you'll see what Charlie's the state did, which I think is just rich. I think it's rich. They did it on the day their mother was convicted. I think the whole thing is rich. You live in Lombardy for 12 years. Yeah. I'm going to Venice. Very excited. Got my euros today. Picked up my money. Au contraire. Yep. Picked up my dollar, my euros, as they say. So I know it's not a big tipping culture, but if someone carries my bag or something, I'm going to tip. So 80 with light winds at DFW. Ooh, Kim staying tuned. Says going on a cruise next week. Last cruise I went on, Donna was arrested. You're in the Antarctica? So I'm going on my trip with my church, and I was talking to the priest, I guess it was last week. And he said his next trip is Antarctica. I'm like, enjoy, because it's a long flight. I'm not into it. Venice is your favorite place. It's gorgeous. It's like walking into an old painting. When is the cruise? What are your stops? I don't know. Let me look. I don't know them by heart. So I'll have 3 days in Venice by myself, which that's, to me, the best part of the whole thing. The absolute best part. Like, to be able to do that by myself and not just absorb life. Let me tell you. What are the... So I get there on the 14th, but the rest of the trip doesn't get there until the 17th, the other 38 people. Šibenik, Croatia. Šibenik. Let me show you. So this is the first. So you have a day in Venice on your own right here. So you arrive, you get on the ship, blah, blah, blah. And then you have a day in Venice on your own. And then you can be like, go to St. Mark's Square, whatever. And then Croatia, which just looks absolutely lush. I mean, the water, let's face it. Then you go to Bari. Very excited. I think we're going to do this caves thing where you go inside the caves and the waterfalls. Then you go to, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to screw it up, Crotone, on your own. So I'm the kind of person who just likes to walk around and absorb. And then Sicily. And then Naples, which I'm going to the Herculaneum, and then Rome. You disembark, but we're spending a couple days in Rome. So those are the stops. And it's with the Viking Ocean Cruise. It's the Vesta, which is a new cruise ship. Put your bare feet on each country you go to. I might try to bring a rock back. We've had a frost warning in Texas. Rome is amazing. So my priest, his name is Father Tom Dillon. He was a tour guide at the Vatican when he was 18, 19, and 20. And so for those 3 years before he went to college and then went into the seminary. So he is the one taking, that's why I'm doing it, because he's the one taking us around the Vatican. So it'll be really nice. Thank you, Rebecca. That was very nice of you to post that. Thank you. That's my email. My son did a trip to Croatia. Stunning. Ooh. The food in Italy will be so good. The flour is different in a good way. I'm excited about the food, but you know, I'm on the shot. So I'm not going off the shot to go eat my face off. So that is, you know, I just eat what I want and I'm not going to worry about it. The Vatican is amazing. I went during the Jubilee. Well, that's when we're going. This is a Jubilee year. So Jab is Roman Catholic. Yeah, I think it's, I might cry a lot because you're just a tiny dot in the cog of life, you know. Your patient is awake. Bye, Pamela. Yeah, he's going to get tours. Yeah. You got your groceries. Good for you, Wybie. So, Mr. Viroscope, Alistair Lee, has a new video out. So it's like 31 minutes long. So I thought we'd watch together like we have. And then I have to go. So we're going to watch this.
The Veroscope analysis of Charlie Adelson today, where we'll be running through his cross-examination on the witness stand. Before we begin, if you have a chance, do go and have a look at the trial channel, who very kindly have given us permission to use the video. And if you haven't already subscribed, what you'll be seeing today and possibly learning if you follow some of the other videos on this Veroscope channel is the forensic linguistics and statement analysis skills that various intelligence agencies around the world, the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, and certain military police forces use for interrogation. And what you'll be learning is how to detect deception, how to detect lies, gaslighting, manipulation, those sorts of things that in your own life, whether that's in business or in relationships, very useful life skill to know indeed. So let's get on with the actual trial transcript itself, and then we'll be running through the analysis and seeing what we see from Charlie.
Okay.
Mr. Adelson, is it doctor?
It is, yes.
All right, doctor. Have you ever heard the saying that the simplest explanation is always the most likely? Have you heard that?
I've heard that theory before, yeah.
Was your explanation to the jury over the last little over a day the simplest explanation?
It was the truth.
I mean, you have a thorough explanation. Would you agree with that?
I told you what happened.
Do you agree that the only problem with having an explanation for everything is that there's just so many explanations?
There's no explanation. I explained what happened.
I want to go through some of that. You claim that you were extorted on July 18th, 2014 by Catherine Magdanola and also in the background some Latin kings, probably Garcia and Rivera, right? Is that accurate?
No, I wasn't extorted by Catherine Magdanola.
You weren't?
That's not what I believed in 2014.
Okay, I'm sorry. I understood you to say you believe that today.
Today I do, yes.
All right, so who extorted you?
I believe that it was Catherine Magdano's friend that she ran her mouth to.
Okay.
And that's 2014.
Right, but as you sit here today, you think it's Magdanola, Garcia, and Rivera. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate.
Okay. Who extorted you?
As I sit here today, I believe that it was Catherine Magdanola, and I believe Sigfredo Garcia, but I don't know for sure. I was never there when she was ever talking to him, so I don't know if he was in on it with her or not.
All right. At the time, though, you did not think she was guilty. You got that right. The time of the
In
extortion.
2014?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And then so exactly when you found out would be, I think you said, her trial.
That I suspected that she was not telling me the truth and she was a part of it was in 2019.
At her trial.
Yes.
All right. And so she was arrested in 2016, right?
Yes.
All right. So for 3 years, she was in the Leon County Jail awaiting trial. Yes.
She was there.
And you believed she was innocent.
Yes.
And you had this whole explanation to assist with exonerating her, right?
I have the truth of what happened, yes.
But you didn't offer the truth of what happened, did you?
Nobody came to me. I thought the truth would come out.
Does someone have to come to you?
I was told not to talk to Katie and not to talk to anybody about this case by counsel.
Okay. So you strike that. On day one, which is July 18th, 2014, she is the only one that physically contacted you to conduct this extortion. Am I correct in that?
Yes, you are.
So you never actually had any contact with any Latin king?
No.
No phone calls?
No phone call.
No texts?
No.
No letters?
Well, in 2016, you're talking about 14, right?
I'm talking about the first layer of the extortion. Did you have any contact with the thugs that were getting your money for 2 years?
No.
Did anybody put a gun to your head?
I was told that I would be killed in 48 hours if I didn't pay up.
I heard you say that, but my question is, did anyone put a gun to your head?
You asked me, did anyone pull a gun on me?
That's what
Is
I
that
asked
your
you.
question? No, nobody pulled a firearm on me.
All right, so when Catherine Magdanola came to you on July 18th and said, open the safe and give me all your money, she was not armed.
She was not carrying a gun that day, no.
Were you armed at that time? Did you have a weapon in your home?
I had weapons in my safe, yes.
Were you led to believe or told that the bad guys are outside, right outside your apartment or your residence?
No, but I was led to believe what they did to Dan, they were going to do to me.
I heard you say that, but my question is, did she say, like, the car's running, I'm going to take the money out there to him right now?
No, she never told me that they were waiting for me outside my house.
In fact, she stayed the night with you, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
And didn't exit your house with your $138,000 until the next day, right?
Correct.
And the money, the $138,000, was that stapled into $1,000 increments?
Each packet was $1,000, and they had a staple in it.
And stapling money's a little unusual. Would you agree with that?
For me, it wasn't unusual. That's what I did.
Right, but nobody else does it. That's why I'm suggesting it's unusual.
I've never questioned people into how they keep their money, whether they keep it with a staple or a paper clip or an envelope. I just know what I did.
Would you agree, doctor, that it's a compelling piece of evidence that the killers were paid in stapled money and came up with that information in this case?
It's not compelling. The people who extorted me and got my money got it from my house, and it was stapled at my house.
They had to have gotten it from you, right? Because it was stapled.
If they got it from Katie, they got it from me.
So it had to be some kind of, I paid, but I did it under duress, based on that piece of evidence, right? That had to be built into your defense.
I was extorted, and I paid the money.
All right, so Katie comes in and she's in a panic and she tells you what's happened. And I need all the money in your safe right now. Do you suspect that maybe she's working with the police at that point? Maybe she's trying to set you up?
No, she didn't say I need all the money in your safe. That's not what she said.
Did she take all the money in your safe?
I cleaned out all the money in my safe and handed it to her.
Right. Why did you do that?
So, Leisure Linda, funny you should say that because the IRS needs to go after all the Adelsons. So, a past client of mine didn't put a $1,500 interest payment from sale of stock or something like that. I know it was a $1,500 interest payment. So it was reported to them. He just didn't include the 1099. That's all. Didn't include the 1099 for $1,500. Got audited, got all this stuff. And they won't go after these people. Think about that.
Because I was being extorted for $250,000.
But why didn't you? The bump was only $5,000, and you immediately became suspicious and questioning and had all these conversations and deliberations about what to do about it for days. When Katie comes to you, you just open the safe and give her the money, right?
Yeah, that's what I did. And there's a big difference between the two.
Okay, well, the way that it was done to you, is that the way it's done?
You have to be more specific, please.
Well, on the wire, you say repeatedly, that's not the way it's done. You knew that the undercover agent was law enforcement, or at least strongly suspected, because that's not the way it's done. And my question to you is, since you're an expert on extortion, because you've been extorted before, and that's how you knew that's not the way it's done, is this the way it's done? Do extortionists send a girlfriend of their victim to collect their extortion money? Is that the way it's done, doctor?
I'm telling you what happened to me, and I was told that if I didn't pay in 48 hours, I would be killed. The person that came and extorted my mom, there was not the same approach as what happened to me.
Is that the only way? That's the only way it's done? They send the girlfriend?
It's the only time I've ever been extorted like that.
Okay. And did you hear any of the negotiate? So they come in and they say, working with the police
So has he been extorted before then? Is that what he's saying?
at that point? Maybe she's trying to set you up?
No, she didn't say I need all the money in your safe. That's not what she said.
Did she take all the money in your safe?
I cleaned out all the money in my safe and handed it to her.
Right.
And cleaned out is a bit of a phrase, isn't it? Sorry, we've gone back a little bit.
Why did you? You knew that the undercover agent was law enforcement, or at least strongly suspected.
The person that came and extorted my mom, there was not the same approach as what happened to me.
Is that the only way? That's the only way it's done? They send the girlfriend?
It's the only time I've ever been extorted like that.
Okay. And
Yeah,
did you hear?
it's the only
any
time
of
you've
the
been extorted
So
like
they
that.
come in and they say, strike. They come in and they say, we need $333,000.
You need to pay $333,000.
You need to pay $333,000. Why not $1 million?
Because when I had told
Why not
Katie that
$300,000?
the $1 million
Why would they-
offer,
Why would these illiterate thugs say $333,000? Could someone please explain that? Lewis, who's illiterate, especially back then, $333,000. Do you think Lewis understands fractions? Do you think Sigfredo understood fractions? Unless it was cocaine splits? Maybe. A third of a million, not 300,000, not 300K.
For Dan Markel, I said I was going to pay $1/3 and when she asked me, "Do you have that much money?" and I said, "Yeah, I could pay it in cash." So she took it as I had cash.
Okay, so for those who have been following the Veriscope channel, you'll have immediately spotted the deceptive markers, the cognitive overload, and when he presents the deception and the lies, we have an immediate change of language pattern. So let's start from the beginning. We see Charlie Adelson's testimony, and just in the short part that we're going to analyze, and we'll analyze the whole cross-examination, but in the short part that we're analyzing today, we're going to see 30 significant deception markers, indicating that his extortion account is fabricated, and high confidence of that, and certainly the jury agreed, and he was found guilty. The linguistic evidence suggests the money was willingly provided for the murder of Dan Markel, not extracted under duress, and following the testimony chronologically reveals how these deception patterns compound and contradict throughout the account. So let's start off. What do we see? Georgia says, you claim that you were extorted on July the 18th by Catherine. No, I wasn't extorted. You weren't? Not. So here we have our first flag. That's not. So we see sensitivity here, what I believed in 2014. Okay. Catherine arrested and is in jail for 3 years. Charlie believes she's innocent. At her trial, I suspected that she was not telling me the truth and she was part of it. And 2023, today I do, yes. As I sit here today, look at this phrase. This is sort of coaching preparation. I believe that it was Catherine. Real victims know immediately who victimized them. This backward progression, which he's hoping the jury will buy, taking 5 to 9 years to realize who extorted you, it's not credible and it's not believable. The truth doesn't evolve over a decade. So the timeline reveals that the extortion story was likely created after Catherine's arrest to explain the money transfer. So look, we have a lack of commitment. We have I believes and I don't knows, which deserve deception flags. By the way, when we put in a deceptive marker, those who have been following the Veriscope channel already know that individual flags don't mean anything per se, so we look for clusters of flags to indicate deception. So I believe, in goes the flag. This is minimization. It's a lack of commitment that she ran her mouth to. It's interesting, isn't it? As I sit here today, I believe. So here we have 2 in the same paragraph, but I don't know for sure. So we would also, if we were going to go into detail, we would look at body positioning, but for the sake of speed, we'll come back to that perhaps. We know this pattern, don't we? I was never there. People will know why I'm laughing. I was never. Okay, so we recognize this pattern. It's amazing how often liars use it. It's quite incredible, isn't it? If you've watched 10 of the Veriscope videos, you'll see time and time again, we see this similar pattern, similar linguistics as well. I was never there when she was ever talking to him. So I don't know, deceptive marker, if he was in on it with her or not. Okay, so I'm sure, please do say in the comments if you're starting to recognize the patterns. I know you are from the previous videos and the previous comments, where a lot of you, and I you know, tens and tens are becoming excellent analysts if you weren't already excellent analysts, which I'm sure some of you were, or are rather. Were and are. So, linguistic principles, I think, I'm assuming that they're non-committal. So we recognize them and we flag them. Remembering, of course, that individual flags don't necessarily mean anything because we need to establish baseline. And some people just have ways of talking, which are just their ways of talking. And it's not deceptive per se, but we mark them so that we begin to see the patterns, and you know, once we have clusters and super clusters of these flags, we can begin to determine, is the statement as a whole deceptive, and then perhaps work backwards and find out exactly where and why and how and all the rest of it. Real victims of serious crimes typically know with certainty what happened to them. They don't believe or assume who extorted them for $138,000 under death threats. He's expecting us to believe him that this highly unusual situation is true. The jury didn't, and we don't. So he cannot commit to his own story, which suggests fabrication. As a principle of statement analysis, if he cannot say it himself, we cannot say it for him. And after 9 years, he still doesn't know who extorted him. Negation, telling what didn't happen. Not, that's not. So we would recognize this as a deceptive marker. What I believed in 2014. I was never there when she was ever talking to him. He starts with what he didn't believe. So that would become doubly important to us because negation is always doubly important as a principle of statement analysis. Not what he did believe. The double negative in the second quote is revealing. I was never there even when she was ever. Do you see how this is unusual? It's difficult. It's stumbling. Never there when she was ever. It's deceptive. It's a deceptive pattern, and it's common. Okay. The years of silence. And so she was arrested in 2016, right? Yes, all right. So for 3 years, she was in the Leon County Jail awaiting trial. Yes, she was there. And you believe she was innocent? Yes. Okay. His silence strongly suggests he knew she was guilty of the murder. If his extortion story were true, it would have exonerated her. He would have been motivated to tell it. His passivity suggests the story didn't exist, yet in 2016, nobody came to me, he says. It's a passive and unconvincing excuse. The extortion night. She is the only one that physically contacted you to conduct this extortion. Am I correct in that? Yes, you are. Etc. No phone calls. So, did you have any contact with the thugs that were getting your money for 2 years? No. So in a real extortion lasting 2 years for 138,000, which is a fair chunk of change, isn't it? There would be direct contact, threats, verification. The complete absence of any direct contact with the alleged extortionists suggests they don't exist. Katie is the only person involved, which contradicts the elaborate gang extortion story. This isn't extortion, this is payment. And we have passive language. Did anybody put a gun to your head? I was told that I would be killed in 48 hours if I didn't pay up. Do you see? I was told, so it's passive. The gun went off. The gun doesn't go off. Someone pulls the trigger. Someone tells you. It's not I was told. Who told? He avoids this. When people deceive you, they will often use passive language. So if you begin to recognize the passive pattern, It's very often deception. Let's carry on with the trial itself.
She knew I had a ton of cash in my safe. So she thought I had the cash. I didn't have all that cash. So that's where I'm assuming they got the $350,000 from.
But the
idea.
offer that she bragged about was $1 million offer, isn't that right? That she ran her mouth about.
I was never there when she spoke to her friend.
Okay, was it $1 million offer?
The offer was that $1 million was going to be paid, and I was going to pay a third of $1 million.
And weren't you going to cover Wendy's third as well?
No, not at all. I was going to cover my third.
Didn't your lawyer say in opening statement that you were going to cover the whole thing for Wendy's third?
No, I was sitting here. I heard what he said. Charlie was going to pay a third of $1 million.
All right. And so the offer was $1 million offer, and that's what you told Katie, along with the fact that you were going to cover the third.
I was telling her that I was going to pay a third of $1 million, yeah. And then one day, if my sister was able to, she was going to pay me back.
And then you didn't have the amount of money that was being demanded at the time, right?
No, I only had what I had.
All right. And at that point, the blackmailer, Catherine Magdanola, negotiates some type of layaway plan for you to complete the extortion with the Latin Kings?
Okay. Katie wasn't the blackmailer, and Katie wasn't the one who was extorting me.
Didn't you just tell this jury that Katie was the blackmailer? You realized it in 2019.
I had thought that when you were just talking, you were talking about 2014. You were talking about that night,
Okay.
so yeah, that night happened in
Doctor.
2014.
Okay. We all know now, because you have revealed the puzzle piece. She's a blackmailer. Can we agree on that?
I believe, sitting here in 2023,
Yes.
that she was in on the extortion for sure.
Yes. So is it okay if I refer to her as a blackmailer?
I think there's a difference between blackmail and extortion, but yeah,
Okay.
sitting here today, we can. Sure.
We'll refer to her as an extortionist. So this woman, the extortionist, is going to do you a solid by negotiating with the Latin Kings for you to get on a payment plan for the extortion. Isn't that what happened?
What you're doing is you're taking what we know in 2003 and trying to say, this is what I knew in 2014.
Did she put you on a payment plan?
Yes, she said, because I didn't have the money, she said, ask me if I could pay $3,000 a month in 2014, and I said, yes, I can.
Did you hear any of the conversation where she was making these negotiations on your behalf?
No, when she said, I'm going to go check with my friend, and if that's okay with him, she took her purse, took her keys, took her cell phone, she walked out of my front door, closed the door behind her, and I sat in my living room, and she came back about 5 minutes later.
You didn't want to talk to the guy yourself?
No, I didn't even think of that. I mean, but she went outside to call him.
All right, and then the two of you took a Xanax and went to sleep.
Well, I took a Xanax. I don't know if she took one out of the bottle, but I definitely did.
These blackmailers and murderers and hitmen, they're pretty good, aren't they? Because they even have a payment plan. This is like amazing. This is a deal. I wonder how the payment plan works.
And the next morning, she left with your money, right?
She left about 8:30 the next morning.
That's July 19th, 2014.
Correct.
Let's talk about what you did that day. You did not report this to the police because you were in fear, correct?
Absolutely.
And you didn't report this to Wendy, even though, according to you, her life was in danger too, correct?
Potentially, but I planned on paying the extortion every month.
All right, but you did go to the gym that morning, right? Can
I-
we show that text, please? Were you able to go to the gym the next
I
morning?
absolutely didn't leave the house. I worked it out at Nova Southeastern Gym, and you can check the gym records. I was never there.
Okay. Did you say you were going to the gym?
I said I was, yeah.
But you didn't actually go?
No, I didn't leave the house.
He didn't leave the house?
All right, so would you agree, Doctor, and we'll refresh your memory with them if we can, that the text messages that were exchanged between yourself and Catherine McVanois on the morning after this exchange of money were inconsistent with your extortion theory.
They were inconsistent with how I was feeling.
They don't appear to look like you just gave her $138,000 under duress, do they?
She told me the last thing she said to me before she left the house is, can we just pretend like this never even happened? So when I sent her that message, I was trying to show her, like, I'm trying to forget all about it.
Yeah, you were just demonstrating to her that you would agree to pretend nothing happened, right?
Absolutely, that's what she asked me to do, and that's what I tried to do.
So the text messages aren't what they appear to be. It's a beautiful day, I'm going to the pool, I'm going to the beach, I'm going to the gym. None of that is what it appears to be. It's something else.
I absolutely did not go to the gym. I was trying to show her that I was, pretending like nothing ever happened and looking past it.
And there's
And it
nothing
wasn't.
on the wire. All those hours of you talking. There's nothing on the wire about the extortion, this layer 1 of extortion, because she told you not to talk about it, right?
She told me to never talk about anything to anyone or her. She never wanted to hear about it again.
And yesterday, in your testimony, between you and your attorney, you mentioned the word extortion 123 times. Would you take my word for that?
I'm sure it came up a lot.
Okay. But nowhere, even in the midst of this whole second extortion, it's happening again. It's an extension of the same thing. Do you mention anything about this layer 1 of the extortion? Do you?
Yes, actually I did.
Okay.
If you pull up the video from Matsuri when I was sitting with my dad, and I said, and the funny thing is, that's what I whispered in his ear.
Right, but we can't hear that.
Right, because that's my point. I never wanted anybody to hear what had happened. I never wanted the police to come talk to me. But if you put up that video, you'll actually see me saying that it's my dad's ear, and that's why I went in and said it. And that's what we were talking about at the time. So
At
it's rather-
Matsuri, the only time you mention the extortion, it's in a whisper that is not picked up by the microphones, right?
Intentionally, yes.
Yes. And that was intentional at the time, but it sucks for your defense, right? Because that would be a huge piece of evidence for you to show this jury, wouldn't it?
No, I think you'd come up with a reason why that I said it anyway.
And there's nobody to corroborate this testimony?
There is.
Okay. And the Matsuri, you talked about it again out in the parking lot, right? Wasn't that your testimony?
Yes, we spoke in the parking lot.
Okay, so you did talk about the extortion.
That's
Just didn't do it in a way that it was captured on any of the recordings in this case.
But we spoke when we had privacy.
Well, you had privacy on the phone, right?
But when?
At least you thought you had privacy on the phone. Every time when you were talking on the phone for
No.
hundreds of hours on this wire.
There's always a chance that I was being listened to.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, there was a chance you were being listened to when you whispered in Dad's ear, right? But you said it. And you were talking about it.
I whispered real quietly into his ear, so I thought I had privacy. At that point, I thought I had privacy.
And Catherine McVanois and you discussed this first layer of extortion in the car outside of Dolce Vita too, right?
That's when I found out everything that was going on, and she opened up when I
But
confronted
if
her.
this jury could hear that conversation recorded, we would all be hearing basically what you're telling us, that there was an extortion effort that predated the undercover operation. Wouldn't
Right.
we?
Because I was trying to see if Sigfredo was behind the extortion of my mom, because I knew he was behind. Always had a feeling he was behind what happened to me, and she was having this explosive fight with him, and it was going on the same exact time that my mom started getting extorted. So I thought that he was going after my mom.
Don't you wish that that conversation in the car had been recorded?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it prove your theory
Yeah.
that you're talking about, the
If I
prior
think about
extortion?
it, then you'd know exactly what happened back then.
But unfortunately, it wasn't recorded, and then everything that was recorded inside the restaurant, you don't mention it, right?
I'm speaking very carefully. I mean, I was still, even when I was in the car with Katie, she was doing most of the talking. That was the first time she really opened up, and I think I caught her off guard. I was still, even when I spoke to her in the car, I was real careful. I said, was T behind what happened to me? Like, I wouldn't even say the words to her.
Hey, Peter, Linda Bailey was not the mediator. Someone in her office was the mediator. She should have still disclosed that. I mean, on the stand, it should have been. She had to be familiar with the case, obviously, even before she was asked to come in and be, quote, an expert, unquote. And yes, Scott, I did attend Charlie's trial. I'm off camera, though, as you can tell. I had the same hair, but I was off camera.
When I was in the car.
Okay, was T behind what happened to me? Do you say anything anywhere in the wire about referencing what happened to me? Meaning what happened to me before?
No, because that was the only time I ever confronted her. But I did actually when I would be on the wire with my mom and I would say it's not the same person. Like that was in.
When I would be on the wire with my mom. Who says that out loud? I'm on the phone with my mom, but I was on the wire with my mom.
Reference to what happened to me, and she knew that.
What call do you say it's not the same person?
Okay, you want to know what call? It was Tuesday, the 26th. And I said it's at the end of the call. It was a 2-minute and something call.
April 26th?
April 26th, 2016. It was a 2-minute and something call. It was towards the very end. And I go, I know it's not done like this. It's 48 hours, just enough time. It's not the same person.
Okay, let's carry on with the analysis.
And that's that. Hey, Mom, meet me on the wire. You've been in the hospital? You'll be there till the 28th, but feeling a lot better and out of pain. We'll be out in time to spend my son's Halloween party in papier-mâché, head of snakes as Medusa. Good for you. She looks like she chews rocks. He's talking about Linda Bailey, not me. No Chinese wall. Thanks, Patty. You being spot on with the information as usual. Thank you. No, I was at the trial. I was at Charlie's. It was before I started the channel. I mean, it was during that time. I met John Steinbeck at a book signing for Ruth Markel. And we had a chat. And he asked me what I did for a living, the basics. And he said, and how many followers do you have? Well, I combined them because I have Facebook groups with large followings. And I said about 100,000. And he said, and I didn't know it was a big deal. I mean, I literally knew nothing. I knew nothing. I just knew I was growing my Facebook groups. And I said about 100,000, which I do. And it's a little bit more now. I think it's like 110, maybe 115. And he, so he's like, you should start a YouTube. I was like, I don't know what to do with YouTube. And then he said, come on. So I went in the back and Stephen Webster was on, what was it? Surviving the Survivor. And I watched it and I was like, it's just a light, a mic, and a keyboard and a webcam. Like, that's it. And they were like, yeah, that's all you need. And I was like, well, I have that now. So here we are, 2 years later. You've been in the hospital for the past 5 weeks. You almost died. My daughter found me and saved me. Oh my God, Patricia. You went on a skin cruise or a skiing cruise? I'm not quite sure. Rosie. You were all covered up in your skiing outfit and you were loving it. It was rain, snowing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go on a cruise in the rain, snow, but I'm glad you had a great time. Yeah. Patty, were you nervous? You have no idea. So my nature is if you follow the Myers-Briggs, I'm an INTJ. So I'm very introverted. And that's why it's more about energy expense for me than it is time management. So tonight I have 2 things to go to. So I knew that when I was done that, I wouldn't be able to be on YouTube. I would be yawning the whole time because it's not my nature to be in groups. It's my nature to be more one-on-one, which is what I enjoy. So I'm very introverted. And when this all started with my radio show, it was so hard. I mean, I'm good in sales and real estate because it's just 1 or 2 people. It's not 1,000 people in a room. And it's a lot for me to do it. It's a lot for me if I go to this thing. So what I used to do is I would have to time myself to get out of my vehicle because I'd be like, you don't really know anyone there. I would literally sit and talk myself out of going to every event. So now I gamify it and I try to find 3 people I don't know and I introduce myself. And I figure how I'm going to do that is I have to make them feel comfortable. And then, so a lot of what I've done with my career is creating honeypots where people know me and I don't know them. And I'm good with that. It all started selling real estate, very introverted. And I would wear funky earrings or I would wear funky shoes, something like that. So somebody would come up to me and say something, and then I could have a conversation. And Facebook groups for me, are a honeypot where people know me, but I don't know them. And that makes this a lot easier. I sold something on Marketplace last night. And the girl came by the office to pick it up. And she's like, I know you. And I was like, maybe. I didn't say anything. And she's like, no, I really do. I know your voice. I was like, maybe. And then she realized it was from Facebook, from Living Tallahassee. So it just depends. But this way I could have a conversation with her and I'm not expending the energy and worrying about everything. I would just rather, I'm the wall girl. I know it doesn't feel that way or appear that way, but I am. It's very hard for me. Always has been. And I thank you, Fairy Glam. I have found a way to make it work, but that's what I suggest. If you're introverted, create situations where you are more, like he was talking about passive language, you are passively in the room. And that's what I've done. And it's worked. It's a way to compensate for not being an extrovert. Now, my business partner, Scott, he's an extrovert. He's very good in groups. He's very good with people. He's very good at just introducing himself, being super confident. I would rather die. A lot of it is I weighed 325 pounds, so that was very challenging. And then as the weights come off, it gives me a little bit of hope that maybe I won't feel like this all the time, but I'm happy with being a fly on the wall. But that's what happened. I am extremely introverted. Very, very introverted. I can go to a building full of 10,000 people and never say a word to anybody. But I like to watch, which is why going to Venice by myself for those 3 days, I will just be observing, taking it all in. I don't have to do anything or talk to anybody. I love white noise. I love it. Do going to events exhaust you? Yes, very much. I'm very tired at the end. I know it doesn't look like I am, and you think, how could she be? But this is why I have the hair. This is why I have, like, I drive a different vehicle than everyone else. I try to do things different, and then if people are interested, then they approach me, and I don't have to approach them. Without introverts, we would have no rockets. We should have no reason to say shh. I say shh a lot. I do. Yeah, I'm an introvert. It's very, very hard for me. And Scott, bless his heart, when we go out, he takes over. I don't have to say anything. I'm just there. I'm just present. More people know me, or know, I should say, they don't know me, they know of me than they know of Scott, but Scott can just manage a room. I need a poll. You don't have to believe me. It's true. My mama knew it. You're describing me and a lot of others. I know those feelings. It takes me a while to get out of the house and go anywhere. It really does. If I am not needed for something, like say, like one of my things tonight is to volunteer somewhere, I wouldn't go. Like if I hadn't already committed to it, I would be like, I'd rather be on YouTube. It's hard to make an ass of yourself if you're quiet. You're a funny. Sometimes the observers are the most perceptive. Well, do you guys follow Myers-Briggs? I'm a thinker. I'm not high on the perception scale, but I'm high on the thinking scale. And I'm judgy. So I think that's part of it, is I judge so many other people and judge so many situations, like here, that I'm so hard on myself too. So I think that's part of it. Like I have to go to this thing. I don't want to go. That's why I'm still sitting here. It started 20 minutes ago. So it's very hard. I'm like, well, traffic's going to be bad. And this is going to be bad. And here I am sitting here, but I should have been down there. Nothing I was excited about. Well, thank you. Thanks, Matrix. You recognized me from the Donna trial, found your YouTube channel today. Well, thank you, Matrix. Anya's an introvert. I think a lot of the people in the chat might be introverts. It's not scientifically, well, it's personality. Personality is not scientific per se, because we all have a little bit of everything. I have almost no extroversion. None. Like I've taken Myers-Briggs, I teach the DISC, which is DISC. I almost no extroversion. So everything I've done as an extroverted person is curated. It's trial and error. Junebug, you're an introvert too. When we were kids, my mom used to say, make my brother and sister go outside and play. I would have. Luckily, my mother did not make me do that, because that was so bad. I could easily become agoraphobic. I was the only one who was allowed to stay inside. I can entertain myself I can too. Patricia's not an introvert. Well, how has it been for you being in the hospital? Are you talking to everybody? Barry Glam says, we've empirically validated. Well, I don't have anybody to empirically validate me that are much more reliable and valid. You're an extrovert in public. I'm not. So when I worked for Keller Williams, they have a thing called the KPA, which is a assessment. And I forget what it used to be called. But that was amazing, because that showed, I was introverted, same thing, but that whoever I was with, whether I was by myself, whether I was in public, or whether I was with family, friends, I was the same person. That I don't change my verbiage. I don't change my behavior in front of people I don't know. I just am the only person that I know. I'm totally it started 30 minutes ago, but I'll get I hate being late. I really do. But I'm here. You're the word entertainer. Word entertainment. I bet you are. Don't ask you about the fractions. That's so funny. 1/3 of a million. Is that what you said? Yeah, that's what I said. No, you didn't, Charles. Social events exhaust you and you try to avoid them. The problem is sometimes people think introverts are just arrogant or bitchy. Yeah. My whole life. My whole life, everyone thinks I'm a bitch. And that's okay. I mean, I don't worry about it. I feel like I spend so much energy taking care of my patients all the time. I get home on the weekends, I could be quiet. But there are people like Scott. He really needs people. That's why I say if I ever went to jail for more than 24 hours, first thing I would do is clobber somebody so I could go into solitaire. So hard to believe Patty's an introvert. I'm super introverted. It took me many months to even chat. And so someone asked me about it recently because I was supposed to speak to a large group and I got out of it. And hold on one second. Let's sign off. I'm having a problem. So I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.